All right, traders, within this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to trade the best setups at the best prices. This is going to be the top options trades heading into the rest of this week. ULTA has already played out successful in terms of the day trading opportunity. It was an exact repeat of Friday where it had a morning panic, ripped back up to this 420-ish level, and then it sold off hard back to the lows. Then it ended up rallying for new highs. As you can see, it did the exact same thing for today, and the strategy worked. It had a gap close reversal. The stock gapped down and had the first red day. Like I told you, when you see that first red day strategy, you're going to want to wait for it to rip back up to the previous closing price. I ended up buying puts a little bit too early. I was up 20% at the lows. Then I got squeezed. Then I added once it hit the previous closing price. Then I literally locked in profits at the lows live on stream, making a 22% profit return using the gap close reversal strategy, as the previous closing price was literally the highs for not only ULTA, but I did it on SPY twice. I played the previous closing price strategy. I played the gap close reversal strategy on SPY twice today. When it hit 415.30, I bought puts. It dropped $1. I locked in for a 38% return. And then right here into the close, when it hit 415, I bought puts again. It dropped a little bit over $1, and then I ended up locking in profits for nearly a 40% return, back-to-back wins on the SPY. That was alerted within the channel, all using the gap close reversal strategy. As the SPY, as ULTA had nice gap downs, had nice morning panics. Once they ripped back up to the gap close reversal strategy to the previous closing price and reacted as resistance several times, there was so many day trading opportunities where you can buy the puts right here at this white line. Once you see it react as a resistance and form lower highs, for example, right here, for example, right here, for example, right here, and then sell very, very quickly into these little rug pulls, into these nice $1 moves, right? So with that being said, these are going to be the top option strategies that I'm seeing in terms of the top option plays. ULTA, man, I'm telling you, the end is near. I'm so bearish for this stock. With that being said, it closed at $423.10. If you want to learn more about the strategy that we're using to make money on ULTA, make sure you watch my previous video. It's going to walk you through that entire strategy. I'm not going to be going over the entire strategy once again, so make sure you watch that previous video on ULTA where it had stated that this stock is about to crash. So we're planning to do the same exact thing that we did today. This is what we're planning to do. The previous closing price is at $423.10. If it goes green to red, so if it's up tomorrow, we wait for it to go red. We do not buy puts on ULTA tomorrow unless it goes green to red, or this is the second case scenario, it's down at open, it gaps down, and then we wait for it to go back to the previous closing price. So the put zone is going to be right around here. The put zone is going to be, we'll call it 418 to 423. Your best prices are going to be 423 to 425 from here. 425 is going to be tough in my opinion, so pretty much 422 to 423. Crack below 418, you can play the key breakdown for puts. In terms of resistance levels, 423 is going to be your overall best resistance level heading tomorrow, right? So if we see it struggling, if we see it breaking down tomorrow at those key critical levels, then we're gonna look to buy put options and ride it back down to 410. It is starting to look like this stock is going to crack this 410 level, as it's been sitting in this channel for 3 days in a row, trading in between this 406 to 425-ish level for 3 days, struggling to break out, failing to break out, having gap close reversals, not closing the strongest, failing to turn strong resistance, the high at the top of the channel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times in a row within these past 3 days. It has failed to hold the breakout level. It has failed to turn that strong resistance in the 420s into a support level. These are all bearish confirmations that within just a matter of time, it is going to crash below this 410. When it cracks below 410, we're looking at a pullback all the way to $400. If it cracks 400, it falls off a cliff because there is no support and there's a gap to fill below at 377.96. There is volume coming in, strong volume coming in on the out of money put options at the 405 strike. 567 on the volume. You also have some volume coming in on the 410 strike as well. I like both of them. I like the 410 strike and I also like the 405 strike. For this particular situation, I am going to be going with the out of money put options. The spreads are a little bit on the wide side, so make sure you're getting filled towards the last fill. Make sure you're getting filled towards the middle, towards the upper middle when buying the puts, and the lower middle when selling the puts, right? You got to know how to submit your orders. If you don't submit your orders the right way, you will get terrible fills. So like I said, look at the last price, submit your order towards the upper side of the middle on the ask when buying, and the lower side on the middle when selling, right? And make sure you're looking at the last price to get an idea. You're gonna have to play around with the orders a little bit, but overall, that's the main disadvantage to trading this one. Overall, we're due for a big move, man. ULTA is looking bearish. This is my #1 setup. This is something I'm gonna be sizing in heavily on, scaling into, averaging my cost. I'm willing to do it like I did today. With that being said, it's a gap close reversal. It's sitting towards all-time highs. It had an overreaction. Please watch the previous video. It goes more in depth on this strategy. This is just a quick little summary in terms of what I'm going over. So, you know, with the updated of today's price action, right? It's just a matter of time before it falls off a cliff. We just need those bearish reactions, like I talked about, the green to red move, or if we open up red, the previous closing price will be the best entry. If it's not ripping back towards the previous closing price, then that 418 key breakdown is the absolute lowest. You should be willing to start sizing in on these put options, right? Just to show you some perspective of how well these can print. This is the 405 strike. This is the out of money 405 strike that almost became in the money today, and the volume is picking up on these heavily. These were at $24. These were at $24 when the stock was literally trading in the 370s. They were at $24. Right now they're at $1.50. They expire in 3 days. It's just a matter of time before this sells off and takes a big hit. Today, they hit a high of $6.24. They went from 3s to 620s. Right now, they're at $1.45. This is going to be a home run, man. We're due for a pullback to 410. We're also due for a crack to 410. And this is looking phenomenal. If we get 410 tomorrow on these are going to shoot up to like $5.50, $5.50 plus. So these ULTA out of money puts are starting to look phenomenal. In terms of entries on those puts, like I said, you're going to want to look to get filled on those particular contracts. 120 to like 150, 120 to 170, in between that zone is where you're going to want to start to get fills. They should drop a little as well due to the theta decay, so that's good as well. So that's ULTA, man. We're looking for that key breakdown. Once it cracks this 420 level, when it cracks 420, when it cracks 418, it sells off hard to 410. The pattern it's been doing lately is it gaps down at open, it sells off, has a morning panic at open, rips back up to the previous closing price, then has another reversal. Study that pattern of history repeating itself. It's just a matter of time before it doesn't close strong and it finally closes weak, cracking this 406 level. If it cracks 406, it's going to drop to the 390-ish range. Very, very bearish on ULTA in terms of how's the daily chart looking. You know, it's struggling for now, 2 days here to break above these all-time highs, right? And technically it's 3 days because this actually gapped up during after hours. So I'm counting it as 3 days. It had the massive move up in after hours, sold off hard to $400. That's where you know to lock in profits. $400 is your major support once 4010 to 406 cracks. And then if $400 cracks, then it's a bloodbath to 377 to fill the gap. But if you see it bouncing, which it likely will, 400, you got to start locking in profits to 400, 406, even a little bit over 410. But we're due for a crack to 410 to drop to 406 to 400. So anyways, 3 days now struggling to break out, sitting towards the highs, failing to turn that resistance into support. Very, very bearish. There's a gap to fill right here, the highest gap to fill above 421.43. It's been having multiple gap close reversals multiple times now at this level, where you could have played puts for the gap close reversals multiple times, just like SPY today when it hit 415s multiple times for phenomenal scalping opportunities, right? And you got a gap to fill below. It has a strong foundational history. Here is a gap to fill right here at 418. It fills the gap. It sells off hard, dropping to 395, right? It's got a strong foundational history of selling off at this level, of really just chopping around a little bit, and then it sells off hard, or it starts to sell off hard right away. For example, this is something I'm looking at. Check out this move right here. It gaps up towards this 390-ish level. It sits for 3 days, right? And technically it is 3 days because it had the move up during after hours, which the daily chart isn't showing you. And then you could see on the 4th day, it gets absolutely crushed, man, right? So we could see something similar like this move right here, where it just gaps up, sits for a couple days like it's already doing, and then it just starts to sell off once it has that gap down. Or it could be something like this, where it just chops around for maybe, you know, a couple more days towards a week, but you know the best price to get in is towards the high of that channel, towards the lower 420s to 423 to 425. You know the best price to get in, and then you could just scalp puts all day, and then eventually within some time it's just going to snap and crack that support. But you could sit here and scalp it all day. Then when it looks very, very bearish, you can look to aim for that bigger win. So that's ULTA in the put options. The only other thing that I'm interested in as of now is going to be the SPY. The SPY is getting very, very interesting. So in terms of the SPY, you could see right here, your key support on the SPY is 415, big upside potential, nice upside potential, right? It cracked, it dropped all the way to 380s. It ripped back up, which is normal. When you see, you know, a situation like this where it cracks heavy support, it's going to get to a point on the daily where it rips back up, and if it turns that previous support right here into a resistance level, that means it's very, very bearish for the micro and for the macro. So with that being said, it's been 2 days now where the SPY has failed. The SPY has failed now for 2 days in a row to break above and turn that 415-ish level into a support level. Very similar price action in terms of what we're seeing to ULTA, except ULTA is towards the all-time highs and SPY is towards the 52-week lows. You see the difference in why I'm really interested in a ULTA instead of SPY, because I like overbought, not towards micro oversold. But with that being said, this is now 2 days where it reacted as resistance, and there were so many pullbacks at that 415 level. So if we can continue to turn this support into a resistance level, the SPY is going to sell off hard into this week to fill the gap below at 405.31. 415 to 416s, you could say 417 as well if you're going to risk a little bit more, is the make it or break it level for the SPY. As long as we can react as resistance for true strength into the 415s, the SPY will sell off hard and start to fill the gap below 405s into this week. Also, looking at the candlesticks, not bullish candlesticks. Look at this candlestick, compare it to here. Very, very identical, right? And what happens the next day? It sells off hard. This does not look bullish. This looks very, very micro bearish. I'm extremely bearish on SPY. I'm extremely bearish on ULTA. In terms of confidence in my main focus, it's going to be on ULTA. But if I catch the SPY lacking, if I catch it struggling towards this 415-ish level, then I will look to play the puts. Here's the deal heading into tomorrow. We closed at 413. Right now, futures are ripping up. SPY's at 415.20. With that being said, we need SPY to maintain a resistance at 417 is like pretty much the absolute most, but ideally 415 to 416. It needs to maintain resistance. If we can get a crack below 415 tomorrow, this should start to sell off very nicely. As long as we get that crack below and that strong resistance at 415 tomorrow, the SPY should be very, very bearish and head back to the 413 range. And then once 413 cracks, we're looking at a bloodbath to 410s to then 405 later this week. That's once that 413 to 410 cracks. So that's my thoughts on the SPY. In terms of the bulls, they need to do it, and they need to do it quick if they want to be in control for the micro. They need to break above 416s, turn that into support, rip above 417s to then push up to the 420s. That's what they need to do. If they can't do it soon, it's going to be over. Same thing for ULTA. If they can't do it soon, it's going to be over. It's make it or break it. The clock is ticking, and right now that clock is attempting to really favor the bears as it's been struggling to break out and turn that into support. However, futures are currently up. So in terms of my in-depth price action analysis, it's going to be most useful heading into tomorrow in the pre-market, at market open during the live trading stream, because futures are currently up. So I'm going to be able to really identify if it looks weak or strong towards the market open. But I gave you the key levels. I told you what it is that I'm looking for. If SPY is looking very, very strong at 416, it's not cracking below 415. I'm not really going to be interested in playing puts on SPY. And, you know, if ULTA is following, like it has been ideally kind of following the SPY in a sense, then I might not play puts at all on ULTA. It's got to react bearish at that 415 level for me to do it tomorrow. And same thing for ULTA. It's got to react bearish in the low 420s. So that's my thoughts. That's my analysis. Those are the top plays that I'm heading into this week. This information that I've given you is relevant for the entire week at this key level. Understand we're in a zone and SPY is trying to turn the previous support into a resistance level, which is very, very bearish. That confirms that the bears are still in control for the micro and for the macro. It simply cracked support, had a big move down, ripped back up to previous support. For 2 days now, it's been reacting as resistance. For a ULTA, it's been reacting as resistance for 3 days at a much better level. That's my thoughts. That's my analysis. Those are the best setups that I'm planning to trade into this week as of now. I'm telling you guys, this live trading session in the chat room, I had some killer alerts in the SPY trading channel. I literally bought puts twice on the SPY today towards the top, making back-to-back nearly 40% return wins. The portfolio is up nearly 40%. The portfolio, I mean, not 40%. The portfolio is up nearly 14% on the day, man. It was an absolute crazy day, man. I got to give some shout outs to some students here. Big shout out to some students here. Let me expand this here real quick. So yeah, I want to give some shout outs to some students here. Snarf ended up making a 27% return on his portfolio today. Also, so this was on my SPY. I did this back to back, a 38% return on the SPY. Big shout out to VZ, portfolio's up 6%. Shout out to Casper making a comeback, 57% return. SM, 35% return. Man, some of you guys are absolutely killing it. This was mine. I made nearly 14%. I had 2 more trades on SPY after that, which brought it to nearly 14%. Sizing in smaller so I don't get back to profits. Mo, 11% return. You guys are absolutely killing it, man. Big shout out to everybody within Traders Society. If you do want to be a part of Traders Society, it's going to be the first link down below in the description. Click the first link and it'll explain to you everything that's included within Traders Society. You get to trade with me live every single day at Market Open. You get the daily stock watch list analysis. You get access to the chat room, to the community where you can ask me questions live on the spot. Add me as a friend on the Discord on the chat room server. You can also ask me questions live within the live trading stream. There's the video lesson library that's going to teach you the price action gap trading strategies, along with price action analysis, price action trading strategies, mindset, psychology, position sizing, risk management training as well. If you want to check it out, if you want to be a part of Trader Society, it's going to be that first link down below in the description. It's a one-time fee. You get lifetime access. As soon as you join, you get instant access. You could trade with us live tomorrow at Market Open. So guys, I'm going to be heading out. I'm in Manhattan right now. I'm actually meeting up with a student. He's been getting phenomenal results. Absolutely great guy, man. He's been crushing it. We've been talking back and forth. I'm about to meet up with him for dinner. So I'm signing off, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys tomorrow live at Market Open.